good to see you. I always had a thing for you, Sid. Showtime, bitch.
It's like a fight for me to breathe every day, but I'm okay.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Chris and Shell Talk Movies. I'm Chris.
I'm Shell.
And welcome to our Scream 7 spoiler stream. Shell, how are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
Good. Excited to we finally get our chance to do this.
I know. And thanks everybody for being here. We have Slasher and Edward and Shot.
We appreciate it.
Yes, we were late. I'm sorry about that. We were bullshitting and lost track of time.
Yes, we'll just also just trying to work something out, but that's all sorted now. I think what we'll do first before we actually jump into the movie itself, I think we'll just, because people probably think we might be shitting on it too much, but we'll probably maybe just give it a little bit of a rating first. So, Shell, what do you give it out of 10?
Oh, I don't know. My first watching, honestly, I probably would have given it a 3.
Yeah.
But that first watch, I've never watched a movie so closely than I did that movie. And that was because of, I knew we would have this conversation someday. That I watched for everything, every nuance, every Easter egg, every. I just kept watching. And I missed the motive. I missed a lot because I was so interested in capturing everything. So that was Thursday night. I went then again Saturday morning because I wanted Friday to kind of digest what I had seen. And I couldn't really digest anything because I didn't catch anything.
Yeah.
So my second viewing, I'm still at a 5. I have serious issues with it. I don't think it's the pile of crap that most people are saying.
Yeah.
I think there are issues that I didn't expect to have because of Kevin. I expected him to do better.
Yes.
But I think when I first saw 2, I didn't like it at all. Like, I thought it was garbage, complete garbage. I thought the opening sucked. I thought all of it sucked, except Timothy Olyphant. So, the more I saw 2, because I would watch it whenever I watched 2, and then I would watch 3 or 1. So I always watched them all, except I skipped 4. I now like 2 quite a bit. There's a lot of really great stuff in it. So I think that will happen with 7. I don't know that I'll ever like the last third of it.
Yeah.
But I think the rest of it is a solid film. But I'm not a big fan of the reveal. I think they blew it. They really shot that one to hell.
Yeah. On my first watch, I certainly walked out the theater a bit disappointed.
A bit. You were irate.
I totally missed that. Oh, yeah, I totally missed that third act for sure. I was also kind of on my first watch, I was a bit disappointed with the opening as well. I thought it lacked a bit of suspense, but obviously watching it a few more times, that has certainly changed for me. And probably after I walked out the first time, because I actually had tickets for that night session before I saw my morning session. So if I probably did that, I probably would not have gone back.
I almost canceled my Saturday too.
But I was like, well, I'll go watch it again. Definitely enjoyed it more the second time, and obviously I wouldn't say the third time I enjoyed it more, but I understood everything a lot more. But I probably thought about it and thought, well, this is probably going to be the last time I watch it until we do it as a watch party. That's for sure.
Yeah, I have a friend who wants to see it, and she's got a crazy schedule, so I'm waiting for that. I'd like to see it one more time in theater. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not going to die if I don't. It's coming out in 3 weeks anyway.
Yeah. So for my rating at the moment, I'm giving it a 7.
It was higher than I expected. Yeah, I'm still at a 5 for a while, I think.
Yeah. So we might as well. What's up? I was going to say we might as well we'll get stuck into that opening. And shot by
Shot a
shot,
6.
seems you're here. I can ask you that question I was going to ask you on the stream I was going to have with Em, or we can ask everyone anyway.
Ooh, slasher 8 out of 10. Wow.
Nice.
What
By
about
the
it
way,
did you like so much?
I was going to say, by the way, Slasher, I did check on your channel yesterday, and I do like what you're doing with your Buffy TV series. It's really good. How you bring it up on screen and that type of stuff. And
I saw that. I can't wait to watch it.
awesome. So, be buying the. Yes, we will. Yeah,
I will buy them all.
We kind of get all the physical medias for the Scream anyway. So even if we didn't like it, we still would have bought it.
Oh yeah, every version regular. Do they even make regular DVD anymore?
Yeah, they still
DVD,
have. They still have,
Blu-ray,
yeah.
and the steel box. Yeah, I'll get them all.
Yeah.
Flasher says thanks.
No problem. So yeah, we might as well start off with the opening. As I said,
Let's go to chat too. What do you guys think of the opening?
When I first saw the opening, I was kind of thought it was a bit lackluster, but I did enjoy it the more that I've watched it. But I will say, as shot by shot, this is that question I was going to ask you. When you see Madison and Scott rock up in that car to Stu's house, do you think it's funny that you actually think that the Stu house is actually like just dropped in the middle of nowhere? Like there's no trees or anything around or anything? It literally just looks like
the driveway is a half an inch long.
Yes, it literally looks like it's in the outback of fucking Australia at night time.
Hey, David Deathray.
Hey, Davey, good to see you.
Shot says the opening was the best part. You think? I don't know. I didn't think it was awful, but I did not think it was great. I thought there was a good amount of suspense in it. But I mean, you obviously know they're going to die. I thought that Madison put up a hell of a fight, hanging from the chandelier and everything. I thought that was really great. I really liked the Michael Myers ghosty thing where he like came in and left.
Yeah, the whole Michael
that was
Myers thing.
Super
that was cool.
sexy. They need to do that a lot.
Yes.
That was great. I love that. And they did it again with Mark through the plastic. I thought that was really go. Slasher, you think this is the best opening in the franchise? Really?
Interesting. I did like like I said, I did love it. I do like it more that I watched it. I liked all the nostalgia of it, like all the lines and that all on the floor of like all the previous Ghostface deaths. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, I thought they had like obviously good conversation in there as well. We've talked about this before when Madison and Scott got that phone call, and we pretty much says it sounds like Krusty the Clown on the phone.
He does sound different for sure.
Yes.
Well, apparently it wasn't him.
No, someone said yesterday they reckon it was Mike Vaughn from the
it was the guy from the TV series.
But I'm going to actually look and confirm that myself.
Yeah,
I just thought that was Roger Jackson doing
being weird.
Voice.
Yeah, me too. I think the opening for 7 is my second favorite. I still do prefer. Really?
Nice.
I do not get like favorite vibes out of this opening. I mean, it's better than 4, 5. What's 3? Cotton.
Cotton.
Yeah, 4. It's better than 4 and 5 for sure. The comedy is used really well in the opening. You're right. I agree. There's and it's typical like couple things. Like she's humoring him by going to this murder mansion, and she does not want to be there. I'm thinking she wants to go upstairs, get in the clawfoot tub with a bunch of bubbles, have some wine, then have some sex, go to bed, and go the hell home the next day. Like be totally over it. But I did like her conversation with Ghosty. It was pretty funny. Like she was, like, you really need to be better with the voice. She was all dense and stuff. But
yeah, well, if you notice that with the way she did that little part there with Scott, I like how you were in the voice, but you could try a little harder. It's the way how she does, same way she does the character in Landman. So that's where that little part there comes from.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like the whole animatronic Ghostface part. That was cool. But I knew it was someone real after, after when she went to go check it again.
When it's, oh yeah, I knew when they showed it to us in the trailer, I'm like, oh, there's going to be a person in that eventually.
Yeah.
It's happening. Yeah, super exciting because the phone rang. I was like, oh shit. I didn't know if that was going to be Ghosty or not. Well, yeah, kind of, Davey. She does. Well, she's got to get something out of being there, right?
It's funny that you say that, Davey, because every time I look at your microphone now, that's all I see after you made that comment yesterday.
I think that voice was the guy who voiced yeah, that's somebody said that yesterday. Yeah, that was crazy. I did not know that.
I was meant to check that out before, but I didn't.
I jumped once. I can't. Hi Kyle. Thanks for stopping.
Hi Kyle, good to see you.
I actually thought you were going to be with us on this, Kyle. I thought it screams, so you should be here. I jumped once, but I can't remember when. But it was like a dumb spot too. I was annoyed at myself because I jumped.
I think if I did jump a little bit, it would have been when it was actually Ghostface or the animatronic. Because I was kind of expecting that, but I wasn't.
What the hell? My phone just lost its mind.
Shell's got Matthew Lillard in the back room there somewhere.
Apparently.
Yes, but
yes,
really enjoyed the opening, but here's some things I would have changed. Definitely would have had a longer phone call with Ghostface, for sure. And when I was watching Scream 1 the other day, I thought, well, they could have, instead of Madison just running upstairs and then obviously throwing the light at Ghostface, and then they went up a little bit more, and then they did the whole over the balustrade thing. They should have done a bit more of a chase upstairs, just to utilize the original Scream 1 a bit more, which I think would have been cool.
Mm-hmm. A little more
and then
Easter eggy.
Yes, and then went over the balustrade. And I did mention this in the previous stream. I thought it would have been cool when, obviously, when Madison fell off the light and got stabbed. I thought it would have been cool if she actually rolled off and then started to crawl out of the house, and then he pulled her back in.
Oh, that would have been good, yeah.
And then lit it on fire.
Yeah, that was good. I think,
so
did somebody else say that? I feel like I've heard that before. Maybe it was you.
I probably said it, but it was just in another stream. So, Cheryl, was there anything else you want to add about the opening?
No, I thought it was enjoyable. Not 100% like on board with it, but I thought it was exciting. They were likable characters. You know, they seemed like your average everyday couple. They're no, that's not the word. What's the word I'm looking for? The way they get along.
Chemistry.
Thank you. It's the head injury.
Yeah.
Their chemistry was really good. They seemed to be very comfortable together, like they'd known each other a very long time. And I mean the actors, not the characters. So it was very smooth and very fluid. There was no awkwardness, which sometimes you get. Oh, it was really good. Not great, but good.
Okay, so next we move on to the probably the first cringy part of the movie was when now I'm going to have my brain injury. When Tatum's boyfriend comes through the bedroom and they have their little conversation.
Hated it. He was doing the Billy mannerisms and everything.
Yeah, I was like, serious?
Awful. It was awful. Awful.
But I did like the nice touch.
Zero stars.
I do like that they had the Fear the Reaper song behind it. I thought that was a nice little touch.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what they have for Billy and One. Yep. But
so
the whole thing was cringy.
I was just that first part I thought was cringy. I thought when Sydney came in and did the whole Ben, I see you there behind the bed. That
was funny.
Yes.
I was embarrassed to be a Scream fan. Yeah. It was bad enough him climbing in the window scene in itself, like him coming to the window, her reaction, his reaction. He climbed in the window exactly like Skeet did. Like everything was the same. And then he started, oh, I was watching The Exorcist, and I went, oh, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. And then he kept going, and he didn't stop talking. Oh,
Shut up.
yeah. Oh, stop talking.
So
The
in
making
future
out
Screams-
thing was good. On the floor, the Sid part, that was all good.
Yeah.
But anything related to the first one, that was unpleasant. Lasher, we are not agreeing on a thing tonight.
So in the future Scream thing, do not do that again. That's the third time
Yes,
we've had a
please
boyfriend
don't
jump
do
through
that
the
again.
window. At least
Yeah,
Trevor did
please.
it better. At least he goes, oh, they're no match for the Ninja Baby. At least he did something original.
Thought it was nostalgic. Definitely nostalgic. Cringy nostalgia, but nostalgic.
Yeah. Yeah, so
You
then we
the
got
list.
that.
Keep us going.
Actually, I don't have the list, to be honest.
Oh,
I was just trying
all right.
I was
What's
just trying
next?
I was just trying to go from my head.
I would have tried to make a list.
Hi Oracle, good to see you.
Hi, Oracle.
Shot by Shot agrees. He reckons it was cringy. Oh yeah, cringy as fuck.
Cringy AF.
I believe the next scene is when Sydney is actually driving to a coffee shop.
He was getting Billy for sure, Billy Loomis, and then he started making out with Tatum, and finally it stopped. But did you see they showed the scene where he starts bringing his hand up her thigh and gets to her shorts, and he slows down just like Billy did with Sid's underwear rule. He was trying to go up her skirt or up her pajamas.
Yeah, I can't say I noticed that part.
Oh, excellent. I don't know why I didn't make a list. I thought Chris had it handled.
No, I
We
didn't.
both failed in this one. We both failed in this one, kids. That's what happens. Live TV at its best.
I'll say from the.
I believe you're right. The coffee shop.
The coffee shop is next. Yes, did have that was a nice little fun scene, but I did no, it's not that part here, is it? Obviously, you had the part with Anna Camp and her son. We're talking about the whole podcast and the whole
trying to get Sydney on it.
Yes, and the whole they were talking about the whole. They must have done a documentary on the whole Scream 6. They said that was pretty cool. Thought that was a nice little act. Instead of talking about a new stab film, they talked about a documentary, which I thought was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Did we see Carl? Is that where we see Carl?
That's where we see Carl for the first time.
Which I knew something was fishy as soon as we saw him with the way where she goes Carl, and then he comes up and then just like looks at her.
Yeah, he didn't scream ghosty vibes to me, but he was definitely
sus.
Yeah, I thought maybe he'd be a red herring or something. Like we'd see more of him. Not the one we saw, but we'd see more of him throughout the film, and he would just be like the creepy neighbor. Like he'd be in the crowd of whatever happened that night.
Yeah.
When the ambo was there and everything, and Sid went down to check out the crowd to see what was there, and I expected him to be in that crowd, not the creepy drama teacher. He was super fucking weird too, by the way.
Kind of a wasted character because he was pretty much just
He
in the.
Was.
He was pretty
why
much
didn't
in
he at least get killed?
He was pretty much in the scene we're going to talk about next, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, next we have Tatum and the jacket.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She comes down in Sid's jacket from 2.
Yes, which was a nice. Could have been the right. Could have been the right color though.
Yeah.
So it was more like a browny red instead of a gray.
Mm-hmm. So Sid was like, "Oh, you could have asked." She had this bitch face on, and Tatum's like, "Fine," takes it off, runs upstairs, and then she said something, and Mark's like, "Well, that was on you." And that when they showed that scene online, I was like, I am gonna love this guy because as I said before, like you need a certain person to be Sidney Prescott's husband. You can't just be Dave who works at the hardware store or something. Like you have to be a strong person who's willing to take on the responsibility of being Sidney Prescott's husband.
Yeah.
And Joel McHale nailed it. I thought he was outstanding. And I knew that was going to happen. As soon as I heard him tell her that one's on you. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to stand up to her, which she needs because
Yeah.
it's all about Sydney. Not in a bad way, but it is. It's all about Sydney. So you need somebody who's going to say, slow down, woman.
Yeah. Well, I did like
Back it
him.
up.
I did like him from his first scene because he did have a scene before that. That was after the whole Tatum and Ben thing. When she went into the room and she's like, "Oh, do you think they're having sex yet?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "No way, but I'll give it 5 minutes."
Yep.
And then she
Like that.
does.
I really like that scene too.
Yes, and then she does the whole. Oh, so how old were you when you were having sex? She's like 17.
Oh yeah, and he's like, "Is that what I told you?"
Yeah, and he's like, "No."
that was nice to see Sid in a normal, because you knew the rest of the movie wasn't going to be a normal environment.
Yeah.
So
it was a
just
nice
her
little-
being happy, which was
Yes.
nice.
Yes. And he said he was 15.
Yeah. I didn't think he'd do a good job either, Slasher. I saw him and I was like, I think I was like 99% of the rest of the people who saw him in the credits and went, "You've got to be kidding me." You know, like, I appreciate we couldn't get Patrick Dempsey, but we had to do better than Joel friggin' McHale.
I didn't know who he was, so
perfect.
I gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh,
But
I've seen
obviously
him in too
because-
much stuff. He's always a dick.
But obviously because
Always.
I knew we had obviously Mark Kincaid before then. That's who obviously I wanted at the time. But obviously watching throughout Scream
Patrick
7,
Dempsey who?
I was like, yeah, Patrick Dempsey who?
Okay, so next we have the kids. After the whole jacket scene, Tatum runs out of the house and catches up with McKenna Grace and Celeste O'Connor.
Yes.
Is your mom going to let you out of your cage tonight? They're having a normal teenage conversation, which again, more normality, which was nice. Ben comes up, grabs them, takes them to school. Super nice, blasting some sort of bad music.
That was a good song.
It was loud. And then I only like certain things loud. And then we're at school.
Yes.
So we have the whole Hannah murder. What do you think, Chris? What do you think, chat?
For the, I will probably would say, like as we have sort of talked about this before, I thought the McKenna Grace kill, Hannah kill was a bit lackluster. There wasn't enough.
Agreed.
I really thought they had more of a potential there to sort of throw her around a bit more into the things, and the Ghostface could have lifted her up and snapped a leg. Because I kind of had that potential before when they were doing the little practice, and he's like, "Oh, you need to be more smoother," and he's like, "You're a little bit hard on the landing."
Right.
So I thought there was that sort of potential there. He could have thrown her around into the, obviously the set walls a bit more, than lifted her up pretty high and then snapped a leg.
Yeah, just bouncing her up and down a little bit, like, you know, upsetting her back or something. I mean, the potential for that scene was outstanding.
Yeah.
And it was, like, used lackluster. It was a good one. I was expecting her to be like Olivia. Blood, carnage. I mean, they sliced her guts out, but even that looked terrible. That could have been practical. It definitely could have looked better.
Yeah.
And I mean, I expected that to be like a solid 3 or 4 minute scene, and it wasn't very brutal.
I was curious.
And they promised us brutal.
Yes, I was curious to see how they were going to do that kill, because she was still on like the on the ropes,
right?
And obviously, Ghostface came out that door and came down the steps. I was like, well, she's still up there on the lines. Like, what's Ghostface going to do? Is he pretty much just going to go up to her and like just stab her up, like just keep stabbing her?
Yeah, I was glad they didn't do that. You know, I mean, they made it at least a little interesting with her swinging, and I mean, that had to be one hella sharp knife to cut through her little outfit and her guts. But
yeah,
it was good. And it was okay. I mean, it wasn't. I keep saying it's good. It was okay. I was expecting more. I don't know why. We just all expected her to be the butchered, but we didn't get it.
Yeah, well, considering they said there was a scene where there was supposed to be blood and guts everywhere.
Well, there were guts.
Yeah, but not enough.
Not good guts. Not good guts.
Not terrifying
Oracle.
guts. But...
Not terrifying, for sure. Oracle, what did you think of 7? Do tell. So now we are at the home invasion scene.
Yes.
So Sid and the family go home. Ben wants to come.
She was like, no.
Tatum or Sid's like, absolutely not, because of course it's the boyfriend. And then they go home. Tatum unpacked her go bag, which pisses
Yes.
Sid off.
Yeah. Where's your to-go
And
bag?
I loved this scene, all of it. The way Ghosty's obviously very familiar with the house. He comes down, he's passing Sydney and Mark and Tatum, and he's ducking in this way and they're going this way. You know, I mean, they're passing each other. It's almost like they're dancing kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
The flow is really good. And Sid's walking out of Tatum's room, talking back to her, and he just calmly hooks a left into whatever was there. A closet, I think. They got a lot of closets in that house. So then he
I think it might have been
then he goes and gets Tatum. So there's a way through that closet to Tatum's.
Yeah. I think it's like another hallway that goes around the back.
Mm-hmm. And then he gets Tatum. Mark and Sid go down, and then there's this massive fight scene with Mark at the top of the steps there, which was outstanding. He's a freaking ninja with that knife. Sid kicks it to him. He picks it up. He's holding it backwards, so the knife's sticking out here. He sticks it in the wall. I mean, it was awesome until he gets kicked down the steps. Which, you know, shit happens.
Which is Mark being Mark.
Then we get the right, yeah, poor Mark. Then we get the panic room.
Yes.
And they leave I couldn't figure out why they left the panic room. I mean, you can outweighs Ghostface. Call the cops. You're good.
Yeah,
but
well, I think
they wanted to go get Mark.
Yeah, that was the plan. But I think she wanted Tatum to stay in there though. Sydney was going to go get her. Of course.
But I mean, Tatum was terrified, and in a good horror movie, Ghosty would have found his way in.
Yeah.
So
I thought
enjoy that she didn't know the panic room was there.
Yeah, I thought Ghostface would have knocked on the door a bit more, sort of like how he did in the coffee shop.
Yeah, but panic room, so not much you can do about those.
Well, not really, but it's a movie. You'd think they'd still try a bit more. Because he basically knocks on it a few times, go, oh, well, this is a panic room. I'm going to go back out. And then obviously that's when he starts looking at the walls.
Which we did see. It was awesome.
It was.
How many ghost faces do you think in the house? I think there was only one, but I do know that people think there might have been two.
I thought it was
but where was the two? Where was the second one? The house, the home invasion house. That was a great scene. Agreed. But they wanted to go get Mark so they could get the hell out of Dodge, which I understand. But Mark's also got a gun, and Mark would know to shoot him in the head. So
yeah, wasn't the gun upstairs?
I wouldn't worry too much about Mark. It might have been, but I guarantee you, there's more than one in that house. Fun fact: Kevin got the panic room because he has one in his house because of the crazy stalker he had. Didn't know Kevin had a stalker. Nice. If I had a panic room, I'd hang out in it just because I could.
Yeah.
Then I'd lock myself out or something stupid. So then they're out of the panic room, and I can't remember how he hears them. Somebody makes a noise in the hall. I think somebody like whispers or something, and he hears them. So they show him stabbing the wall in the trailers we got, but he is a hell of a lot more violent in the movie.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot more violent. I mean, that Ghostface was freaking angry. He was mad. He had a lot of shit going on.
Well, in the trailer, you only saw him tap on the wall once.
Right.
But he did.
And then Sid broke the knife, bent the knife over.
Which was interesting, but the thickness of that knife, I don't think that's going to bend that quick.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But we'll say she did have a metal bat, so perhaps. Who knows? And then they're out in the yard. He's fighting with Mark again. And Sid hits him with the birdhouse. And then Gail hits him with her car. Which I do remember hearing that Gail was supposed to hit Stu with her car. She was going to hit someone. So that must have leaked or something, that Gail was going to hit Ghostface with the car. I heard it in the very beginning. I hadn't heard it in a long time. I had forgotten all about it. But they said she was going to hit Stu.
Which, by the way, you mentioned Stu. We did.
Stu. The first went downstairs and opened the front door, letting the other. That's why the front door was open.
I was going to say, while we're talking about Stu, we did forget to mention his phone call outside the school.
Oh, we did, yes. But wouldn't Mark have opened the front door? Because Mark was outside. Nope, Mark was inside. Interesting theory. Interesting. Okay, let's talk Stu.
So we're just going to track back a little bit. We obviously, before the whole McKenna Grace kill thing, we forgot to talk about the whole Stu kill.
We forgot about Stu.
We forgot about Stu, the phone call. I really enjoyed this phone call. I thought it was a lot of fun. They did a really good makeup with his face to obviously represent that he'd been his face had been crushed by the TV. I thought was very nostalgic. I thought the way Matthew Lillard chose to do this part, so it was like we got the old school Stu here. So I had a good time with this first phone call.
I thought the first one was good. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of people saying that this one was really Stu, and then the next two, there's two, right? The next two were the deep fakes. Opening the door, of course, for Stu and 8. So good, we get to listen to that for a year and a half. I'd have to watch them again because they're saying that the first one was really clear, and in the second one, like the makeup wasn't right and it was off and stuff like that. And somebody who apparently knows a lot about deepfakes said the way he was moving, like holding the phone and moving like this, the background wouldn't adjust that quickly in a deep fake.
Yeah, it's all fuzzy.
It would be fuzzy and pixelated. So
you even see
it's
it
not like you're holding a regular, going like that and the phone adjusts, but the deep fake wouldn't. So that's why they're saying that, because the other two phone calls, he stands still.
Well, it even does it with some people's YouTube channels. They have a green screen behind them, and because they have and you see them like they move, and you see like the pixelations around them when they move.
Yeah, your colors and stuff. So
that's a good point.
Slasher says about the scars. Yep. It was something. I don't know. I am not on the Stu train. I'm fine with Stu being dead. I do love Matthew, but I think that ship has sailed. It's just too late. Too late to be bringing Stu back. But I mean, I'll accept it if they do it. My thing with it is it has to be so perfect. It has to be so good. And I don't know that you can do it well enough.
Well, it really was to make us.
Could be. Because look at all the conversations and the people that were so interested and talked about this movie every day of our lives. For how long? Is he alive or is he dead? Like, people have their whole YouTube channel based on Stu Macher. Yeah. Is he alive or is he dead? And I mean, more power to them. But they do videos like with clues about everything that everyone says. I don't know how they have the time. But yeah, I don't know.
Which you do make a good point, because really, if that really was Stu, then that would have been the good point, the good part for him to hit the car, because get hit by the car, because we would have thought that was him.
Mm-hmm. Good either way, but 7 really pushed the 2 train. Oh, they sure did. Mm-hmm. So now everybody's saying, that 7 is leading up to 8, and 8 will reveal everything. 8 and 9, because Stu might be in 8. We may not find out until the end, and then like he'll be a reveal at the end into 9 or something. Like, they've got 8 and 9 all planned out. So we shall see. Okay, so Carl's dead. What do you guys think about Carl getting hit by the car? Because I'm not sure. if I liked it or not. I thought it was like kind of cheesy. I mean, it was fun, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was kind of cheesy. And then, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's when that happened, I was like, why is one Ghostface getting run over so early in the film?
Mm-hmm.
So then now are we only gonna get one from now on?
One reveal, right? Because there's only two, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. It made sense for what they were doing with obviously the third killer type of thing.
It surprised me, didn't expect it. The early reveal, yeah. They still want the early reveal and they stay alive. But they were like, when they took off the mask, even I for a second was like, who the hell is that guy? It took me a minute. And then when Sid's like, oh, I saw him today. And oh, that's Carl with the coffee.
Yeah, when I saw the demasking and I saw that it was someone there, I did do the same thing. I was like, oh, who the hell was that? And then I was like, oh, well, that was. I forgot who he was, but I was like, oh, that was the dude from the coffee shop.
Yeah, it's super weird. Oh, Slasher was on point. Good job.
Nice.
I mean, they showed us his face. It was big enough on the screen. I don't know why anybody would have forgot who he was, but it took me a minute. I remembered just before Sid said she saw him at the coffee shop. So then talk. We end up at the loony bin.
Yeah.
Where Sid tells Gail that Stu called her. And for a minute, she thought it was real. She thought he was alive. And then she called and found out that the paperwork was missing.
Mm-hmm.
Stu's death, the body intake form was missing. And that the woman who was the coroner died 3 years ago. Now, I don't think for a second that they killed the coroner. I think she was just old because it was 30 friggin' years ago.
Yeah.
I think they just said that so that, there's nobody else to talk to. So Sid was kind of on the Stu train for a minute. I don't think she stayed that way. I think she got over it pretty quick. He was suspicious in the coffee shop, right? Yeah, I just thought he was going to be like this red herring who showed up a lot and we saw a lot of, but didn't.
It was definitely red herring because we got that little music part, the whole like boom. Because obviously he knew that something was going to happen. Yeah,
he was sus, as the cool kids say. So then we're at the hospital and we meet Ethan Embry.
Marco. Yes, Marco.
Who I had pegged as a red herring because when I saw him I got this movie so wrong. I have to go back and do what I got right, a video. And
yeah.
I got like 2 things out of 100 right. So we're at the hospital. We meet Marco, who is beyond helpful to this woman who says she's Gail Weathers. Obviously, he knows who she is. And this woman who's Sydney. He's just like, dude, let's go. Like, let's have dinner. I'll show you their rooms. I'll give you their driver's licenses. Whatever you want. So, of course, he was sus, like, for sure. So, the Tori spelling picture, I got that one right. I knew the picture was fake.
Yeah.
It looked like photoshopped in the scene that they showed us.
Yeah.
They didn't explain the pictures. They showed us the pictures in the trailer and made them out to be something really big, but they were just Carl's weird drawings, which is weird.
Yes.
Then would you like John Doe is Stu, of course. Would you like to see his room? He left 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Not sure why you'd want to see an empty room. Because there was nothing in it, like no clues whatsoever. There wasn't even an Easter egg that we could have found. The room was sterile. So then, of course, like they didn't learn anything really. They didn't learn anything real, I should say. So then Gail's like, well, what the hell are we going to do now? And Sid's like, it's interview time, which was very exciting. It didn't really happen the way I thought it was going to, because I expected during this interview, even though I knew it was going to be a plant, I knew I knew it was like Sydney was doing it because she had to, not because she wanted to. She wasn't being nice to finally give Gail that interview that Gail's been begging for 30 years.
They were doing it to try, and they thought Stu was still alive
right.
at this point to lure him out.
I expected that Dewey phone call to come then, and Dewey to say more stuff.
Yes.
That would mostly Gail, that would cut Gail. I mean,
yeah.
Sid was obviously affected by Dewey's death, but I mean, it like wrecked Gail as well it should have. So I expected that to happen then. Obviously, it didn't. And then Ghosty finally calls, and Sid, everybody's really criticizing this one. She runs out to her car. For some reason, doesn't have the key fob in her pocket. So she decides to run rather than running back in and getting the key fob.
Yeah.
To get in her car and go. So she's running apparently from like my house to Chris's house, because she is running and running and running for like 5 minutes, maybe longer, and she doesn't get anywhere. And she's still. So then we have the bar scene, right? Am I going in order? We're at the bar, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say we did forget about another Stu call. Obviously.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, after the attack at Sydney's house, we did get another Stu phone call.
Which that's right.
Which was pretty funny, because I thought, well, obviously they did the whole like Stu can't do it himself, and he's like, well, neither can you. Bought it in this like, irrelevant old hag.
Right. Yep, I remember now.
Which I thought was pretty funny. Which obviously, by the way, here we knew that it's a fake. Obviously, it's a fake Stu here, because obviously he does the whole thing at the end where he does, I can't wait till I can slit your throat, and then he does the whole thing with the keyboard where he pushes the stop button,
which is the end button or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Which some people have a problem with, which I kind of do as well, but I do find that little part where he pushes the space bar to be funny.
Yeah, everybody, like, a lot of what I've heard is that it was just stupid that he would do that. Like, why it didn't just fade out. Of course, if it just faded out, then it leads to who's holding the camera.
Yeah.
Because he's certainly not going to edit it. Edit out the stop button kind of thing.
I was going to say that the whole like Sydney doesn't have a key thing, that doesn't bother me, because normally if you are going to have an interview or something on TV and that, you're not going to have all your shit in your pocket anyway.
Right, but this is the truth. As I was speaking, I thought I was saying the wrong thing, and I was. It was Gail's car. So Sid tried to get into Gail's car. She wouldn't have been able to drive it anyway because she didn't have the damn key fob. So she would have had to run back in and get the key fob anyway, because it wasn't her car.
Start running.
You're absolutely right, Slasher. So she takes off, and she's running to Australia, or it's Pennsylvania. I don't know where she's coming from, but she is hauling ass. So while she's running, we're at the bar. We're at the bar, sort of, while she's with Gail, too. Like, they're going back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of a scene going in.
Right. Scene over scene. So they show Celeste O'Connor serving beer, making pizza. Ben is experimenting with the deep fake, because they're on his MacBook from Sid's cloud. And he's saying if it's a deep fake, then it's like awesome. How Ben knows so much about deep fakes, I don't really know. Then we have Mindy almost giving the rules, and Chad kind of reining her in. And then she goes on a Mindy tangent about what the killer's motives are. So that's the first time we get the motive. And she's right. She's spot on. As she usually is. She's just wrong about who the killers are all the time. And then they're talking, it's mostly kid stuff, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Then the pizza burns. So Celeste goes back to get it, and Ghosty's there.
Yeah.
So Ghosty torments her a little bit. And Then Jessica's kid goes back. Right? Am I
Yeah.
okay? Jessica's kid goes back. And then Mindy and Chad are back there. And Celeste O'Connor stabs Chad. Then Ghostface comes up. This part bothers me. Ghostface comes up and he grabs Chad or stabs Mindy first. I'm not sure which. The order really doesn't matter. Oh, grabs Chad first. So he grabs Chad. It looked to me like he slit his throat, the way he like just kind of spun him. And then he stabs Mindy once, throws her on top of Chad, and then goes about his business of attacking Celeste O'Connor. Like, why not finish those two off? It's that pity me cut like that Derek got.
Yeah.
Or Richie in 5 in the hospital. That we did forget, Mark. You're absolutely right.
We can say that scene over scene anyway.
But that part with Mindy and Chad really bothered me. We can backtrack to Mark before we get back to the rest of the bar. Mark's in the house.
Here's a noise.
And here's a noise out in the new construction area. I don't know why they need a bigger house. Anyway, so he goes out and around, and obviously there's that scene where he's picking tools up, and Ghosty comes up a little bit, and you get to see him, which was super sexy. And then he gets the shit stabbed out of him. So that scene was legit. It was exactly what was shown in the trailers.
Mhm.
And I was convinced that he was going to live because they showed us so hard that he gets stabbed a lot.
Yeah.
So it was like they're giving us this one a little too much. So I did not think he was going to die, and I'm glad that he didn't, because
someone did bring this up, like, and I did actually notice this on my watch. It was actually because they wouldn't have that much plastic in a renovation area, because they've obviously they just put plastic up around the windows and where they need to.
Mhm.
But the plastic on the inside of the house was actually supposed to be like a like Gale's Chase and Scream 2, when like in the soundboards. So that's why he was weaving him. That's why he was weaving in between everything.
Oh, yeah, that didn't even occur to me.
Yeah.
But I like that.
Yeah.
More nostalgia. Been to computer classes. I forgot that. Very good slasher. You guys remember so much more than me. It's coming back to me now that we're talking about it. I'm going through like step by step. I swear he did. Like Ghosty grabbed him, and I swear I saw his hand go like this. And I thought, what a shit death for Chad. Like if that was it for Chad, I mean, Chad needs to go out in a blaze of glory. He's a legacy character by now. He's important to the cast. I mean, I don't think he was necessary in this movie, but he was in it. So he's important to the story. So kill him off like that. I was like, God, that really sucks. And then they stab her once in the stomach. Mindy needs to go like Olivia.
Well, we all thought she was gonna go.
Cheer. But she didn't. One little stab in the stomach and she's thrown on top of Chad. Like, what the hell is that? So anyway, so then
I think I was
Celeste
going to say
O'Connor
that.
bites it. You know, there's
I was
a
going to
little...
say, I was going to say, I think when Chad goes, that's going to have to be a bloody terrified death, the way he's been taken out already.
I think so too, yeah.
The amount of time he's been
stabbed so many times. Absolutely. So we have our Celeste O'Connor scene, and it's suspenseful. I mean, it's not like Gail's in 2 suspenseful.
No.
But you know, she's under the bar and he's up there, and she's hiding here and hiding there.
Mm-hmm.
And he tricks her, opens the door, which Chad and Mindy couldn't find the door that opens. So they're he opens the door obviously and stays in the building. So she's so stupid, she stands up and there he is. Yeah. But then she dies with a piece of glass in her throat, which, whatever.
I thought that was nifty, like the way he just drags her across the bar with all the glass and then down on the floor. It
was good. Mm-hmm. It was pretty with all the glass flying everywhere. So then what do we have? We have Lucas with his beer tap death. I don't like that one. I might be in the minority on that one, but I am not a big fan of the beer tap death. I thought it was not visually pleasing. And I don't know, Ghostface usually doesn't do that kind of thing. So
Well,
I
like the
wasn't a
fact
big
that
fan.
I like the fact that they did something different instead of it just being a knife stab.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad we got something different, but I do agree with the visuals on it.
Yeah, it was not
Obviously,
pretty.
obviously it did start to look good, but then obviously you see the color change where you could tell that it was CGI, where they easily could have put a tube. Where they used to do it like back in the 80s and stuff. They used to put, when they throw up and stuff, they put the tube on the side of their mouth, and then whatever they're going to use for the liquid for whatever would just come out, and then they edit that part out. They edit the tubing out.
I'm hoping they fix it in 4K. Like when they re-edit, I hope it gets a little prettier. I thought Mark was going to die. He said one I said was, I thought they gave it to us too many times. Like they were just pounding it that he was going to die. And I thought, they're not going to kill him. They're going to give us that one. Slasher, you're right. He was a pincushion. Holy moly. I think so too. I think honestly, both of them need to go. Like, and maybe like an opening kill. They're the opening of 8 or 9. And they both go gloriously. Like they're hanging from the ceiling fan like they were supposed to in 4. Chloe and Lucas' death were crazy. At least Lucas was like more inventive. I mean, not to say that, I mean, Chloe was interesting. I like the chase scene of it.
Yeah.
But
it could have been something a bit more than just...
Bug the crap out of me. In this day and age, with what we can do with CGI in films, if you can't make it look real, then don't do it. That's just me.
Well, it's not that it's so much that the CGI doesn't bother me. It's just the fact that you don't even have to be a student of film to know that that's an easy thing to do practical.
Yeah.
Just to rig up some tubing. And then obviously do some tubing and then obviously have all the beer come out.
Mm-hmm.
Next point.
So before obviously this, because they're not there, Tatum and Ben are going to the TV station because Tatum wants to be with Sid.
Yes.
So they're getting in Ben's Jeep and he puts his MacBook down and it's still open. And Tatum sees his face or whatever. So she opens it and there it's the deep fake. It's him turning into Stu.
Yeah.
Which is not a good look. So she smacks the shit out of him with his laptop, which was fantastic. So obviously he's not dead. I don't like, he's got a head wound, just like me. Mine's not a MacBook though. So she gets out the car and there's that scene with Ghosty where he wipes off his nice clean knife. And their starts are roughly for like 6 or 7 minute chase for Tatum. So I liked the chase scene. I thought it was good. It was eerie. It's done at night. Obviously curfew. There's not a soul, not even a cop in this town. The cop thing really kind of annoyed. I get why we didn't have cops, because if we did, then somebody could have helped Tatum. But like there should have at least been one that she screamed at or something and he didn't hear her because his music was really loud or like something. There should have been a cop there.
Yeah.
That for some reason.
Or someone in the shop.
Something.
Where she could have like banged on the window.
Somewhere. But anyway, so chase scene. It was good. It was suspenseful. And then Ben comes around the corner gushing, which was good. And then poor Ben
gets stabbed the shit out of.
Another poor Billy boyfriend, poor Ben boyfriend's innocent, sweet little guy, dead as a doornail. Ghosty stabs the shit out of him. And then Tatum's on her running again. I did, and I think everybody liked, we finally got the ghost face on the wall, the shadow that we were supposed to get in 5 that they kind of teased us with, which was super sexy as well. What else do we have? Where are we? Then Tatum gets into the coffee shop with the keypad.
Yeah.
Shout out to keypad locks. I have them too on my house. They're awesome. So she gets in, and what got me was her phone actually rang. I have never heard a teenager's phone ring. When my kids got iPhones, vibrate. I don't think I've ever heard either of my son's phones ring. Ever.
Well, remember Sam's rang in 5.
Well, she's older.
Yeah, still.
But
I think even
I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny that her phone rang because kids' phones are always on vibrate. So I was like, yeah, that'd happen.
But I think they had to do that
they
for what they
vibrate
did.
really loud. They did. It had to fit the story, but they vibrate really loud. It would have been better, I think, if it didn't ring, it vibrated, and he was like, waiting to hear that again. But anyway, I got a kick out of that little scene.
Which I did think was cool. I did think that part was cool, how Ghostface is looking in the coffee shop, and then he thinks there's no one there, and then the phone rings, and then he does the whole thing with his like that again. Because we hadn't seen that for a little while.
Why, if Ghosty knew and we're skipping the camera scene, we'll go back. If he knew the code, why didn't he just use the code to check the coffee shop? Like right then. He knew the code. Why didn't he just go in and, I
think that's just movie thing. Suspense.
I guess. So, okay. So Ghosty goes, the phone rings, blah, blah, blah. Ghosty comes in the house. Or in the
shop.
That's the word. Thank you. So Sid, they finally get a hold of one another. She gets the gun out. She shoots him. She hesitates, obviously, because she's a child, and Sid's telling her to shoot this human being in the forehead.
I don't think I can do it.
I get it. I expected Tatum to have, I expected Sydney to have told Tatum stuff. Maybe not the whole sordid story. I expected it to be the opposite of what we got. So I expected her, when she has a gun in her hand, that she knows how to use it. She was clueless. She's like, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. Thank God it was loaded. So what do we got here? Lucas.
That's a good point.
Cool. Lucas' death was brutal and cool at first, but then they're angled too long. Yeah, you can see it for sure. They tricked us with Ben. Yep. I'm glad he wasn't Ghosty, though. I mean, that, like I said, been done. Been there, done that. Let's move on. Got the t-shirt. Maybe he took the cops out. Oh, well, while one was doing one thing, the other could have been doing that for sure. He had to walk to the coffee and call the other Ghostface to get the code. Maybe. So but you think...
But he didn't quite go around the corner. Like, he was on the edge panel, and then he started to walk off. You could still see him, and then the phone rang.
You could still see him when the phone rang.
Yeah. So he probably knew. He probably knew the code anyway.
I would think they both knew the code, just in case. But who do you think? Did they tell us who got shot?
Yeah,
who Tatum shot? Was that Marco?
Tatum shot Marco because they said your daughter missed my head. Because remember, he opened the coat. He opened his rope.
That's right. Okay, I do remember. Yeah. The end is still blurry for me. Okay, so that's Marco. Yes, thank you, Slasher. So don't shoot him she didn't shoot him in the head. He gets up, blah, blah, blah. Big fight ensues. She's throwing chairs at him. She's crab walking backwards. All of a sudden, knocks him out. She thinks she's getting away. She turns around, and in slow motion,
we got that second ghost face, which I thought was awesome.
Ghosty comes around the corner, all sorts of hot and sexy. Wind blowing in his hair. It was her hair, for that matter. It was excellent. So I thought there was a really good scene where, she turns around to run, and then Marco's in front of her, and Jessica's behind him. That was really good. So then, Sid gets to the coffee shop, and then we get another phone call, the final stew call, and chat, Sid yelling at him, blah, blah, blah. Where is she? And he says where the heart is. So of course she runs home, wherever the hell that is. She gets there faster than she got to the coffee shop. And then we have all this AI crap
Yes.
before we get into the backyard.
Which was absolutely
So-
shit house.
What's our thought on Scott Foley and Mrs. Loomis and Dewey?
Well, Scott Foley was just Scott Foley. He wasn't playing
Roman. Yeah.
he wasn't playing
should've worn
Roman at
his
all.
Glasses. Should have had his glasses on.
Like I said the other day when we were talking about this, Dewey looked like he'd been on set all day and was busting for a shit.
Dewey it looked like he wanted to be anywhere else in the world, like getting a lobotomy rather than
Yeah.
being there. His hair, everybody's comparing him to Hitler. His hair and his little mustache, he
Yeah.
looked like death warmed over. Like if they had dug up Dewey, that's what that guy looked like. He looked awful. And you're right, Scott Foley just looked like Scott Foley. He should have had Roman's glasses on. And the one that looked the best was Laurie Metcalf. I mean, Scott Foley looked fabulous, but I mean, Laurie Metcalf just looked like Mrs. Loomis. She didn't do the bug-eyed thing, which was sad.
But even then, she looked like she even then she still looked like she'd just gotten out of bed.
Yeah, I absolutely hated that whole scene. It was terrible. I mean, it was inventive how they streamed it in and, you know, clicked it on every device where Sid was going to be, and she was turning stuff off, and then she just was like, you know what, fuck this. Where are you? And then she figures it out. But I did not enjoy the AI at all. I was hoping that Scott Foley was lying to us when he said, you know, I was only on stage or only on set for a day. You know, I only worked for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was lying to us, that we got more of that, but it was unfortunate.
That's one thing I will give credit to Roman.
Flasher, everything I say you disagree with. Is that on purpose?
That's one thing I will say about the Roman and David Arquette. Like, at least they were still in get-ups, which they did actually wear in Scream 3, or like what Dewey wore in Scream 5. It would have been better if Mrs. Loomis was actually in like one of her suits.
Yeah, that white pantsuit was good. Roman looked like Roman to me in the reveal in 3. He didn't have his glasses on. You're right, but he wore them for most of the movie. Right, his glasses. Well, they might have. Yeah, they were probably. Yeah, maybe. You're right. They were, but I don't know. When I think of Roman, I think of him in glasses.
Yeah,
you're right though. Even though the reveal doesn't have he doesn't have the glasses on.
And I think also with the Roman thing is also because obviously he had a bit more weight to him in Scream 3, which he does now.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of like, not say put us off. It was just not the Roman of Scream 3.
Yeah, he's definitely more fit now than he was then. So now we're at the reveal.
The terrible part.
The reveal. All right, everybody. Tell us what you think of that.
What did everyone think of the motive? Motive third act.
So Marco is talking and going on and on. Honest to God, I can't remember anything he said. Except to say that, did you really think it was Stu? And basically said, if you think Stu's alive, you're stupid. Which I thought was kind of harsh, directed at the fans who kind of thought Stu was alive. I thought that was a little harsh. I could be reading into it because, you know, that's something I do.
I didn't really take that from that, to be honest.
You know, I overanalyze everything. So, and then the gate flies open, which everybody thinks Stu opened the gate for Jessica.
Isn't that right, Stu?
Isn't that right, Stu? Yep. So Ghosty strolls in, and we get the scene that was leaked to me, not directly to me, but Jessica standing there in Ghosty. I love Anna Camp. Well, I did before this post nonsense after the movie came out. But I did not want her to be a killer. I did not want her to be Stu's sister. I just wanted her to be Jessica, and she could die in 8, but I wanted her to be Sid's bestie and be Tatum again, the Tatum that we had in the original. And I obviously didn't get that. When I saw the spoiler that she was the killer, I was so pissed. So the motive, which she does explain as Marco's trying to talk, she keeps telling him to shut up. The big girls are talking. The motive is she read Sid's book when it came out, and she was married to this jackass that
Obviously, used to
beat
abuse
the
her.
crap out of her, abused her, and she read Sid's book and took from that it's okay to kill the bad guy. So she killed her husband and got away with it. She didn't kill him in self-defense, apparently. She just killed him, got away with it, and then found out that Sid was no longer actively killing ghost faces because the New York incident happened and she didn't go there. She stayed home with her family. Now, obviously, Jessica knows that because she lives next door. So she would have heard of the ghost face crap in New York and then known that Sydney was home, with her family. And the fact that Sid wasn't killing ghost faces anymore really pissed her off. So she decided to become Ghostface.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I get being upset that, I mean, I really don't, but that, I don't even know that she's pissed that, Sid's not killing the bad guys anymore, but the bad guys weren't coming after Sid anymore either. They didn't go after her in 6 and she didn't go visit them, which I can't say as I blame her, but I there's days I enjoy the motive and there's days I don't.
Yeah.
So then we get the motive and then they drag Mark out and Mark pulls out his little pocket knife and he cuts Tatum's legs free. And then the 3 of them have a little plan, obviously unspoken, that Tatum's going to surprise Jessica. She admits to killing her kid. Well, no, she just says he's dead. So I'm not sure who the ghostie was in the bar yet. I don't have enough information on that. You think it was her? Violet,
I think it was her.
Sure.
Marco was already after. I think Marco was the one who who started all the chase. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's so everybody's saying that she's not strong enough, but she did mention she's doing Pilates, so she could be. She's definitely tall enough because she's taller than Marco to get, what the hell's his name? Lucas up on the beer
To
thing.
To be fair, Marco only weighed about 5. Not Marco. He only weighed about 5 kilos.
Yeah, and Marco's a lot shorter than her, so I mean, we'll say it's possible. So then she, Tatum head bashes Jessica and everybody takes off and Tatum stays with Mark, and then Sid and Ghosty have a row, we'll call it. And then Tatum comes in and shoots her. Then they're playing hide and seek again in the garage. And Jessica comes down from the rafters like Carl did in the opening. Carl comes down from the attic. Jessica comes down from the rafters.
I didn't notice that, so I have to watch that part again.
Yep. But she's behind plastic, so it's not overly obvious. So then they shoot the ever-loving shit out of this woman.
Yeah.
Like 15 times. Literally shooting her face off. Which I did not enjoy. I'm all for gratuitous violence, trust me. But I just thought that like they kind of overdid it with that. But that's just me. Let's see. Surprised to have Nancy. Yeah, they made it out though that there was going to be a lot of surprise cameos. And she was the only surprise. I hate the motive, stupidest thing ever, but I see what they were doing and I appreciate them
I appreciate. Yeah, I was going to say I appreciate that the motive they tried to do was something different. For me personally, I just don't think the excuse itself landed.
Yeah.
It's like I said the other day when we did Ready or Not with Em and Kyle. I said it was like me going on a murder spree because they don't have the bloody McRib at McDonald's anymore.
Yeah. Geechee come back to Scream. It'd have to be flashbacks for sure, but you know we're still fingers crossed for Maureen's murder or something. Marco saying that was the ploy to get us off the stew topics, and they can. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
But it ain't going to work now.
Scream 7 is good until the reveal because they're killing characters left and right to make you think they kill it because the majority of the cast were to be killed off. Yeah, but I mean, but they left so many people. Like Mark Consuelos didn't die. That weird professor guy, the idiot in the drama guy. Yeah, he should have been brutally stabbed. He was a dick.
So definitely, I was going to say, definitely an 8. Definitely 8 now needs to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, they definitely didn't kill enough people, for sure. Marco chasing Tatum. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It was Jessica in the attic. She let Carl in, and she was in the bar, then jumped over the counter. Was Jessica? Do you think it was Jessica in the attic? And she let Carl in, right? Because somebody opened the door. We definitely have to pay attention to the door part. Interesting. Very interesting. So I'm still on the fence. I think I'm still at a 5, even after chatting.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll go higher than a 7 ever. And as much as I hate 4, I think I might like 4 better. I think my bottom 3 are going to be 7 or 4, 7, 5.
Can't remember.
Yeah, it was like a it wasn't. I do remember missing it completely the first opening night, and I'm standing there going, or sitting there rather, going, what in the hell is she talking about? Because I missed, honestly, I blocked Mindy out because she's Mindy, and I didn't retain anything she said. I just remember Chad telling her to shut up, and then when Jessica started talking, I heard it. I heard every word she said, but for some reason my brain was like, this is stupid. So I turned it off, and I didn't really catch what she said.
Yeah. So I was going to say just quickly that when they're in the garage and that, and they're doing like the whole when they kill Anna Camp's character and that, I think that's fine. The motive I think is dog shit, and I expected more from Ethan Embry. The way he did his reveal was pretty pretty bland.
Mm-hmm.
I expected a bit. He could have had a bit more gusto to him. So I think Ethan Embry's sort of acting ability was kind of wasted in the reveal, for sure. So at the start, like I said, I'm happy to give Scream 7 it's a 7 out of 10 for me. But yeah, and probably in my ranking at the moment, I rank it 1 above 4. So 4 is my least favorite, and then it's going to go 7.
That's sad. All the excitement, in the.
But with that said, I am excited for what they do next for Scream 8. So with that said, before we wrap all this up, where does everyone think maybe Scream 8 was going to head?
She had a house key, like the code to the shop. I find it weird that Sid would give this woman a key to her house and the code. Carl and Marco went to school killing Hannah. Someone had to control the lights and keep her swinging so the others can kill her. I thought momentum kept her swinging. Because she slammed into the wall and then he brought her back. And then, inertia would have kept her swinging. Scream is a 7.
So, nice.
Killers were just okay. Yeah, I think the motive will grow on me with time, but Marco will never be okay for me.
Also, Dom, it was great hanging out with you
such a
yesterday on
waste.
Kyle's stream.
Yes, good times. And I don't know, I'm still pissed about Jessica. I mean, she was so obvious when they cast her that I was hoping that, like Ethan Embry, I didn't go in saying I know for sure who any of the killers are because I don't play that way. But when they cast those two people, I was like, yep, they're ghosties. My ranking 7, 3, 6.
Is that late?
1 is your fourth? Really? Wow, slasher. I do like 3 second though, because I love 3.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is he going from is 7 his least favorite upwards, or is it the other way? Because some people do it different.
Usually you go down, right? No, he loved 7. He thought it was fabulous, though.
Okay.
Stu is safe for 8 and 9.
We'll see. Hey, if they bring him back, they bring him back. But I'm not riding that train anymore.
I got the killers right in my predictions. Nice. I assumed they would be. I was just hoping that they would definitely go a different direction.
When they did the casting, I automatically had Ethan Embry picked.
Oh, for Sure. It was like Dermot Mulroney. Oh, yeah, he's ghosty.
Probably also before we go, it would be an interesting thing to talk about. Did anyone hear about any sort of like fake motives that they heard, like people were talking about beforehand?
No, I didn't hear anything about the motives. Did you?
One of the things I heard, there was actually a solo killer, and it was Ethan Embry. But he was a childhood friend of Mark's.
What was his motive going to be?
Well, he kind of had enough of the whole Sydney type thing as well. So he wanted to take her out.
So kill her out, or so kill her and then it's over.
Yeah. That was one of the early things I heard.
Interesting. That was the going rumor, and I was really hoping she wasn't. I didn't want any part of that. 1, 3, 2, 5, 6, 7, 4. 4 haters. This is our club. I love it. And would be sad. Yeah, mine changes. Like my bottom changes quite a bit. My top is pretty good. Mine's 1, 3.
I'll do mine. See if I can work it
1,
out.
3, 2, 6. I would 4, 7, 5. Yeah, I would definitely put 4 above 7 right now, which kind of hurts my soul because I hate 4. But maybe it would have made more sense if she was Leslie, for sure. But I think the whole family connection nonsense, I think, is overdone. I think we need to get away from that.
There you go.
I'm writing mine down because I forget them.
So I got stream 1, 2, 6, 3, 5, 7, 4.
7, 5.
I'm a big fan of 6, by the way.
1, 3, 2, 6, 4, 7, 5. The 4 and 7, I think, will switch a lot.
Nice.
It's weird though that 4 moved up because I hate
it.
I don't care much for the killers. They didn't do it for me. Yeah, it's hard when they they don't grab you really.
Yeah, I think even like looking now at the
Mm.
killers, if we did a re-ranking, they would definitely be like, I think they'd be last for sure. I'd even put
I think so
Ethan and that
too.
above them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ethan, at least, I don't know, maybe not above them, but in that same bracket that we had. I can't remember what our brackets were, but Ethan was definitely in the low one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a big fan of 6 slasher.
The opening does it for me for 6. And the Jason reveal. Well, that would be fantastic. Share it with us, Dominic.
Nice.
That'd be great.
Awesome.
Very exciting. Support independent. What was I can't remember what I was half in a sentence. Oh, 6. One of the biggest things that I want is a reveal like we got with Jason, but then obviously
Yeah.
to not have Jason die. I want that opening kill. It doesn't even have to be then.
Yeah.
But we got, Jason, that scene is so beautiful. I love everything about that. Samara, I think Samara Weaving could have died a little more violently, but to hear her scream is just beautiful. But anyway, that whole scene, I love it. And then Jason takes his mask off, and I audibly sighed in the theater. I was like, yes, finally, I get it. And then they killed his ass, and I was so sad. I knew he was going to die because they kept showing too much of it. And then obviously he gets the phone call. And I'm like, yeah, we're not going to, like, he's going to bite it. I was sad.
Now I see something red is definitely a good line, for sure.
That is good. I like it. Yeah.
So that's our Scream
She's
7
delightful.
That's our Scream 7 review, everyone. Shell, what do we got coming up next?
What do we have tomorrow?
That's what you're doing.
Actually, tomorrow, let me pull it up so I get the time right. Because I just changed the time actually at because I forgot all about daylight savings time. Totally forgot it. Let me pull it right from the. Sorry, I'm not prepared. Let me pull it right from the channel so I get it right. Tomorrow at 12:55 p.m. So at 1, I will be live for the Traders US Watch Party, season 4, episodes 1 and 2. I appreciate it's already out and most people have already watched it, but this season was fabulous. And so I'm going to do a rewatch of it. And I'm going to do all of season 4 of the US and the UK versions. The UK version actually came out in January, but we didn't get it until about 2 weeks ago, right after the US season ended. And then there's a UK celebrity version. And then I'm going to go back and do all of the seasons of the US and the UK. And depending on how they go, there's lots of countries. There's Australia's, there's the Netherlands. They're all over the place. So we're going to do those. And on Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern, Kristen, you didn't change yet, right? So it's 9 p.m. Australia time.
Yeah, I haven't changed
We're starting the Saw franchise.
Which Kyle is going to be joining us for that.
Kyle will be here, our third cast member.
Oh, our third cast member these days.
Then later that day, we have our Memory of a Killer recap, which we do every week, which we have great conversations for in that. Nobody knows what the hell's going on, but we have a lot of theories. And then on the 11th, we start one of my favorite franchises. I'm super excited about this. So if you want to see me quote every line in a movie, come watch Transformers with us. And we will be doing all of them.
Nice.
So we have lots coming up. I'm super excited to do the Traders. And M from Horror will be dropping in every once in a while, mostly on the UK. I don't know. She's a snob about the US version, I guess, but she's gonna stop in periodically, so that'll be a good time.
Yes,
always fun with them.
And
lots going on.
Yes, and I was going to mention as well before. It's not on the schedule yet, but we are going to try and do Strangers Chapter 3 to finish that off, our series for that sometime soon.
Finish that crap. Finish it off. Yikes.
So thanks for watching.
as soon as 7 is available, we will do
Yes,
a
we're
watch
gonna,
party with that too. So
Yes, we're going to be doing a watch party for Scream 7 when it's available with Kyle and M. So
yes,
keep
we
an eye
will.
out for that one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. We appreciate it. Thanks for your insight as well on Scream 7, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Did you get that on film? Yes, I got that on film.